Hey everyone, welcome back to Detangle. So in this video, we'll do a question related to concentric metallic shells and let's see how the charges are getting distributed in that. So according to question, we have three concentric shells like this and they have given and their radiuses are given as R, 2R and 3R and they have given charges of Q1, Q2, Q3. So shell 1 is given charge of Q1, this is given a charge of Q2 and this is given a charge of Q3. And they have told a condition that the surface charge density on the outer surface are equal, which means that say I consider this shell, first shell, so this is the outer surface, so the charge density here is same as the charge density on the outer surface of the second shell and same as the charge density on the outer surface of the third shell. So that is a condition given and they have asked us to figure out what is the ratio of the charges Q1, Q2 and Q3. Okay, so let's see how to do this. So here let's consider the first concentric shell, the innermost shell. Here I've drawn it a little bit big. So they're telling that it is given a charge of Q1, so it is given some charge of Q1. Now we need to understand how exactly this charge Q1 is going to get distributed inside this shell. So is it going to stay somewhere in the middle or is it going to come onto the surfaces? There is inner surface, outer surface, so which surface it is going to come on? So all those things we need to understand. So as I've said, the property of a conductor that inside the conductor electric field has to be zero, which means whichever charges are there inside the conductor, they'll be coming on to the outer surface so that there won't be any electric field inside the conductor. Now if you want a more detailed understanding of this, I've already made a video and where I talk about the electric field inside a conductor and also the field pattern which is emerging out. So if you want to check that video, I'll put the link in the description. And yeah, let's continue. So the electric field inside a conducting shell has to be zero, which means the charges Q1 given to this conducting shell cannot reside somewhere inside, it has to come on to surface. Now does it come on to inner surface of the sphere or the outer surface of the sphere? Let's understand that. Say it comes onto the inner surface of the sphere like this, then what would happen is if we are taking a Gaussian surface inside the conducting shell like this, a Gaussian surface, a spherical Gaussian surface, then that would enclose these charges, that is the Q1 charges which are inside that Gaussian surface. So in this case, if we apply Gauss's law, then net flux cutting should be equal to the charge enclosed by epsilon naught, and flux, as you know, it is the electric field times the area is equal to charge enclosed by epsilon naught. So here you will get a non-zero value of electric field. Why? Because this Gaussian surface is going to enclose these charges, that is Q1 charge, which means at some point inside the concentric shell we will get a value of electric field, and as you know that cannot happen, that is inside the conductor the electric field should be zero. So that's why we can conclude that these charges are not going to come and settle in on the inner surface. Rather than that, what happens is the charges will come and settle on the outer surface like this. That is, if you take any Gaussian surface inside the conducting shell, then it won't enclose any charges. All the charges will come on to the outer surface such that inside the conductor the electric field is zero at all the points and the electric field lines will be going out in this way. So that means the charges Q1 given to this first shell is coming and getting reflected on the outer surface of the shell. So the outer surface will have a charge of Q1. Now let's consider the second shell. So here we have all the positive charge Q1 settled in. Now because of this collection of positive charges on the outer surface of the first shell, it will attract all the electrons which are present in the second shell onto the inner surface of the second shell. That is, all the electrons which are present inside the conducting shell will be coming onto the inner surface of the second shell like this. Now exactly what amount of electrons are coming and getting collected on the inner surface, that should be equal to minus q1. Now why this? Because say now you consider a Gaussian surface within this second shell, that is like this, a spherical Gaussian surface inside the second shell. As you can see, this Gaussian surface would be enclosing a charge of plus q1 and also a charge of minus q1 within this, which means that the total charge enclosed has to be plus q1 minus q1, so that means it should be 0, and therefore this Gaussian surface doesn't enclose any charge within it. Therefore it justifies that the electric field at any point on that Gaussian surface or inside the secondary shell should be 0. So that is why the amount of charge getting collected has to be exactly equal to q1. Now since there are minus q charges getting collected on the inner surface of the second shell, this will leave behind positively charged atoms. So positive charges inside this conducting shell will come on to this outer surface like this, and that will be exactly as q1. Why? Because if there are like 10 electrons which are coming and getting induced on the inner surface, it will leave behind 10 positively charged atoms, so that will get collected on the outer surface. And also, now what about that charge q2 which is given to this second shell? So does this charge go in on the inner surface, or just does it get collected on the outer surface? As you can see that this inner surface, there shouldn't be any excess charges now. Why? Because there is a proper amount of charge minus q1 and q1, so that the net charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface becomes 0. So this charge q2 also has to come onto the outer surface. So this charge q2 will be coming onto the outer surface like this. So the total charge on the outer surface now becomes q1 plus q2. So now we understand that because of this charge q1 induced on the outer surface of the first shell, there is going to be a minus q1 induced on the inner surface of the second shell, and because of this minus q1 there is a plus q1 induced on the outer surface of the second shell, and also there is a charge given, that is q2 charge given to the second shell, that also will come on to the outer surface. Now that you see a pattern, we can simply extend this to the third shell also. As you can see, because of this q1 plus q2 on the outer surface of the second shell, there is going to be a minus of q1 plus q2 induced on the inner surface of the third shell, so that if I take a Gaussian surface inside this third shell, then that would enclose a charge of minus of q1 plus q2 plus q1 plus q2, so that will get cancelled. A minus of q1 and plus q1, that will get cancelled, so the total charge enclosed will be 0. Hence the electric field at any point inside this third shell would be 0. So that justifies the property of the conductor, and all good till here. Now if there is a minus q1 plus q2 induced on the inner surface, then there should be a plus q1 plus q2 induced on the outer surface. Along with that, they have told that a charge of plus q3 is given to the third shell, so that also will come on to the outer surface. So here we have a good charge distribution in these concentric shells. So now that we have whatever we need, let's just quickly calculate what they have asked for. They have asked the ratio of q1 is to q2 is to q3. I'm just going to simply use the condition which they told, that is they have told that on the outer surface, for the outer surface, the charge densities are equal, which means that the outer surface of this first shell, there is a charge of q1. As you know, the surface charge density is simply the charge divided by area, that is how much charge is present in a given area, how densely it is present. So this should be q1 by, as they have given, the radius of the shell is, first shell is r, so this should be, since this is a sphere, the surface area should be 4 pi r square. And also here if you get a confusion like they have told just one radius, right, but you have like inner shell, outer shell, so you would be thinking like shouldn't there be a 2 radius? So since they didn't mention anything about that, I think like they have assumed or they want us to consider the conducting shell to be very thin, so that differences in radius doesn't matter, or it is like very small. So you can simply consider the radius r as it for like inner sphere or for the outer sphere, since they didn't mention anything about that. Or you consider the, it's like considering the conducting shell to be very thin. So from that I'll get 4 pi r square. And in the same way, the charge density on the outer surface of the second shell, so we have a charge of q1 plus q2 divided by the radius in second shell is 2r, so this should be 2r the whole square. And for the third shell, the charge induced is q1 plus q2 plus q3 on the outer surface, so q1 plus q2 plus q3 divided by 4 pi whole raised to 3 r the whole square. Now in this you can cancel all the 4 pi's and all the r squares, and you will get an expression like this: q1 by 1, and here it will be q1 plus q2 by 4, and here it will be q1 plus q2 plus q3 by 9. And if you simplify these two, bringing 4 this side and 1 that side, so you will be getting 3q1 is equal to q2. So we got a relation between q1 and q2. And in the same way, if I take these two expressions and substitute this value of q2 here, so here it will be 4q1, this q2 is 3q1, so 3q1 plus q1, 4q1, so you will get q1 is equal to, here 4 and 4 cancels, and here if I put q2 as 3q1, so you'll get 4q1 plus q3 divided by 9. So bringing 9 this side and simplifying, you'll get 5q1 is equal to q3. So you got a relation between q1 and q3. So because they have asked the ratio, so it is q1 by q2 by q3, so that is going to be, so q1 as it is, q2 I can write in terms of q1, so 3q1, and q3 I can write in terms of q1, 5q1. So this q1 cancels and you will get 1:3:5. So this is the correct answer.